you hear those horns, you know what time it is. It's time to play some toss. Welcome, everyone, to episode 24 of the Tristain on Sports Show. Toss is your main man, T-Square. Tristain Thomas here with you for a fresh edition of Toss, straight out of the kitchen, truthful, opinionated, and passionate, just the way you like it. Thank you for joining us. So glad all of you are here. And let's get right into State of the State. Now, last week we had a quick toss for you where we kind of glanced over some issues that I saw with some of the Wisconsin teams, and we spoke about the Milwaukee Bucks, who we're starting State of the State off with. We talked about how Moose and Milton got into it and how they should be using that energy on the court to go and trounce their opponents, because infighting is not going to get you anywhere, whether it be competitive banter, whether it be petty squabbles, whatever the case is. Infighting, fighting with each other does not help you win games, period. Sometimes you're in it with your brother and you need to go and have it out, and then you guys go out and do what you do on the court. But that wasn't the case in that Celtics game where you guys decided to argue with each other. But I digress. We're talking about Monday night's game. We're talking about the game against the Houston Rockets, a pretty decent team, kind of underperforming, but still a very good team. You got James Harden, who we all know is a very lethal scorer. You got Dwight Howard. He is what he is. He's a mediocre big guy. He should be the best big guy in the league, but he decides to be a head case and be mediocre, which if you read my Twitter or at the 2-0 double, I've said that multiple times. We're talking about a big Bucks win, 128-121 against the Houston Rockets this past Monday. We're talking about how we saw a glimpse of the future. Now, we know the Bucks' motto is own the future. And all the moves they've been making have been trying to do just that, own the future. But what does it really mean to own the future when you're not really producing on the court right now and you have so many problems and you really don't have a clear vision on what you want to be, and there's still some moves to be made, tinkering to be done, growing up to be done by both coaches and players? How can you really own the future when all of that is going on? We saw what the future has in store for us on Monday night. We saw a glimpse of what we could possibly be getting night in and night out. You know who I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about, but we're going to go through it anyway. We're talking Giannis with a triple-double, 18 points, 17 rebounds, 11 assists. We're talking Jabari Parker, who set another career high with 36 points, 16 of 25 shooting. This man took 25 shots. The aggressiveness is there. He is completely over that ACL tear. You can't even tell, really, that he had a torn ACL last season. Even his head coach, Jason Kidd, said the same thing on his blog. You can't tell that he was injured. The athleticism is back, the explosiveness is back, and now the aggressiveness is there, and he's letting things come to him as opposed to trying to force the issue. Chris Middleton, we all know about his big money contract this past offseason. We all know he was supposed to be one of the best perimeter defenders and a good three-point shooter. He showed up. 30 points. He was a perfect 15 of 15 from the free throw line. 5 steals. Those 3. And we're not even talking about the 18 points that you got from Jared Bayless off the bench. Moose wasn't even really a factor in this game. Plumlee came in. He gave you good minutes. And again, if you read my Twitter at the 2-0 double, you see I like Plumlee. I like what he brings to the table. I like what he does. And ever since he's been inserted into the starting lineup by Jason Kidd, you've seen him produce. He just gives them a little something different. It just works in this starting lineup. But we saw a glimpse of the future. We're seeing chemistry between Giannis and Jabari grow before our very eyes. Giannis assisted Jabari Parker 6 times in Monday night's game. We had some spectacular athletic plays from both of these guys. We had some outstanding perimeter defense by Chris Middleton, even though overall their defense was not great. As a team, overall, the defense was just not great. And it won't be this season. I don't see it happening. We're not going to get back to that level that we were at last season. It's just not going to happen. That ship has sailed long ago. But at times, you've seen some pretty decent defensive plays. Their late game execution leaves a lot to the imagination. It was awful. They let Houston get back in this, and that will come. I think that will get better. But the chemistry between Giannis and Jabari is growing into something extremely special. Chris Middleton, if you could continue to get that kind of a performance from him, if you get this performance from Giannis, from Jabari on a night in and night out basis, who can really hang with this team? They showed you that they could go and outscore you. And if you get just a little bit from the bench, like you did out of Jared Bayless, again, Greg Monroe wasn't even a huge factor in this game at all. He wasn't. He wasn't a factor in this game at all. But yet you still found a way to score 128 points. You still found a way to get it done from the line. Now, Giannis struggled from the line, but Chris Middleton comes in, hits 15 and 15. Jabari Parker hit his first 3 all year. This is what you can expect to come in the future. This is what makes you so excited about this team, is seeing these 3 guys put in work like this. And you just hope and pray that this can just continue to grow and become consistent, because that is what is missing. We've all been screaming all season long about we want to see aggressiveness. We loved seeing that aggressiveness on Monday night. Jabari has really been aggressive since the All-Star break, and it is wonderful to see. This is what you come to expect from a number 2 pick overall in the NBA draft. This is what we expected from him, and we're getting that. This is what makes you so excited about this squad. This is what makes you so excited for this team and about this team, because of this, because of these guys, especially Giannis and Jabari. We don't know what the future holds for Middleton being in Milwaukee. Yes, he signed a contract, but as I stated before I started this segment, there's still some tinkering to this team to be done. We don't know who's going to be where, but I can tell you that Giannis and Jabari will be a part of this team. They will be a part of this team's future because they have something special developing before our very eyes right now. Those 2 are going nowhere. Nowhere. The question I have about this is, there's still a question about point guard play. Now, Michael Carter-Williams did not play in Monday night's game because of a knee injury. Not sure how long he's going to be out. We just don't know. We know Steve Novak, he's going to be out with a sprained MCL. He's out for the rest of the season. But point guard play, we saw Giannis being at the point, more of a point forward type of position. And we've seen this for the past few games. They've really given him the ball handling duties. His distribution of the basketball, he's a pretty good passer, but he does turn the basketball over. I think that he cleans that up, it'll be a lot better. But is this something that's here to stay? With Jason Kidd, who knows? He loves to play mad scientist with all of his lineups. We know this. We've seen this. It's a fact. It's not fiction. It's fact. It's not opinion. It's fact. He plays mad scientist with all of his lineups because he's trying to find something that works. And some of the things that he does doesn't make any sense because it just flat out doesn't work. But this lineup change, putting Musa Monroe on the bench, have him coming off as a reserve, this starting 5 that he has in place right now, it's working. Have they gotten a ton of wins with it? Look, they haven't gotten a ton of wins all year long. I mean, there's going to have to be more done in the offseason in order to get back to that 6th seed in the East type of level, especially with the defense that they played last season. But is there something as far as chemistry being built with this lineup? Yes. You have to look at the game tape. It sometimes it goes beyond wins or losses because, right, like, as we said before, we stated this many times here on Toss, we are not going to make the playoffs. That is the absolute truth. You have so many teams to jump over. You would have to play absolutely lights out basketball for the entire remainder of the season, which is what, 24, 23 games? You think you could go and win 20 out of those 23, 24 games? I don't foresee that happening. You're not the Golden State Warriors. But can you continue to build chemistry? Can you continue to give guys time and have them develop and get them NBA caliber play? Yes. Yes, you can. And that's what's going on right now. You're just trying to find something that works so you can be competitive games. I want to see my team win. Regardless of if we're going to the playoffs or not, I want to see improvement and I would love to see wins. But sometimes it goes deeper than wins and losses, especially at this point in the season with the type of record that you have. Is this Giannis point forward thing something that's going to continue for the foreseeable future? Yes. Yes, it is. Now, I'm on record as saying I think MCW is gone after this season, period. They dangled him out there on the trading block as they did with Greg Monroe. So we know those two guys' future is in question. Regardless of who comes out from that organization and says what, we know that their future with this organization is in question. I'm on the record as saying I think he's done after this season. I feel they could not get enough for him heading into the trade deadline. That's why they took both he and Monroe off the block. Now, I think they could get something for Monroe, but I just don't think they got an offer that made any sense. So they took him off the block. I don't think that MCW brought in enough trade value, so they took him off the block. But package him with a pick, because we know you're going to be in the lottery. Package him with a pick or another player. See what you get over the summer. By then, teams will know what they need, know what they want to do, have a direction they want to head into, and you hope the Bucks are in that same position, have a vision, a clear vision, in a direction of what type of team they want to put onto the court night in and night out. And then they're going to be more apt to make moves. You know, the trade deadline is more for contenders or teams that are way out of it and are trying to unload money off their books so they could go and make it run at a big free agent. That's really what this trade deadline is about. But in the summertime with free agency, you could get a lot more done then when you have picks involved and other players and things of that nature. So I think that's what they'll do. If MCW comes back next season, will I be surprised? I think a part of me will, and I think a part of me won't, just because you have to come to expect anything from this organization, because that's what they've shown you. From Jason Kidd's lineup changes constantly on the court to what John Hammonds has been doing, you just never know. You just never know who's going to be here and who isn't. But if you could get a point guard here, or if you decide to keep Giannis as a point forward, what do you do with the point guard spot? I mean, what do you really do? Is Ennis the answer? Do you keep Michael Carter-Williams and have him come off the bench? Is he the answer? You hear a bunch of crazy talk about trading either Jabari or Giannis for in a pick for Kyrie Irving. I don't want Kyrie Irving. Don't want him. Love him, love his style of play, and apparently he's got beef with Cleveland, and I commented on that on the Facebook page, the Toss Facebook page. He's an alpha dog that's being forced to defer to another alpha dog in LeBron James, and he's not happy about it, but Shaq and Kobe were two alphas. They made it work to the tune of 3 championships. Could have been more, but at least they made it work for 3 straight championships. Those two guys have got to find a way to figure it out, because it's really, it would behoove you to go down as a champion as opposed to a guy who wants all the shots on the court and to be the quote unquote man. But what moves will be made at point guard if you decide, okay, well, this whole Giannis at the point forward experiment is over. We really want him at the forward, even though I spoke about this with the guys from Home Court Sports. A 6'11" guard forward, intriguing. That in itself causes matchup problems. Giannis has the quickness, he has the length, the athleticism to be able to go. He could really pretty much guard almost every single position. He's shown you that. It is an intriguing move. It is something to really think about, and you're really getting high production out of him from the point forward spot right now. It's a small sample size. We understand that. It's only been a few games that he's really had ball handling duties, but he has yielded great results. Great results to the tune of 2 triple doubles. I don't think that's a fluke. That is skill. And he's learning and he's still growing. He's only 21 years old. I mean, that's the amazing thing. His game has improved each and every single year, and he's only 21. He's still got a lot of learning and a lot of growing to do, but what you see from him on the court is special. What you're seeing from Jabari on the court is special because he's fully healthy. He's really getting acclimated to the NBA game. When he was drafted, everyone, including myself, said he was the most NBA ready to come in and give you 15 points, 8 boards. He's averaging well over 20 and well over 9 boards his last 5-6 games. He is really giving you that special play that you expected from him when you drafted him. I love the chemistry that he and Giannis has. Jabari even came out and said that he wants to play with Giannis for the remainder of his career. That's special. That is special. So what moves get made? That is the only question. How do you build around these two. Hey, these three, if you foresee Middleton being here for the long term as well. I just don't know. I can't sit here and honestly give you an answer as to what do they do with the moves. I don't know. I can't honestly sit here and say that I know. I don't. No clue. Will the defense ever get back to the level that they were last season? Maybe. But it really depends on the moves that you make. If you make moves, are you going to bring in guys that are going to be just as committed as the team from last season was to being a high caliber, elite level defensive ball club and still be able to get it done on the offensive end? Who knows? Who knows? And that's the part that is such a mystery. You just don't know the vision for this team. You just don't know. Even though they're playing a bit better, you're getting some special play out of Giannis and Jabari. The vision, the full vision for this full team is still not clear to me. And people have to put this in perspective. Everybody is learning and growing and making errors. It's not just the players. Front office is still learning and growing. You know, John Hammond, he's been in the game a long time, but even I think this is really his second season not having a foot on his neck telling him what moves to make, and that foot was Herb Cole's. This is really his second season where he doesn't really have that leash on him. So he's still really learning and trying to figure it out. Jason Kidd, think about this. He's 3 years removed from being on the court as a player. It's only his third full season being a head coach. He's learning, he's growing, he's made some errors, he's made some mistakes, he's still making them, but he's still learning from them. All this will come together with time and patience. And this is what I need to tell Bucks fans and pundits and talking heads and whatever out there. Stop being a wet blanket on the play. You got people saying, oh, well, the Bucks are this and this in their last 10 games. And it's not about that at this point. Yes, I want to see them win. I've said that multiple times. I would love to see them win and win as much as possible to close this season out. But the main thing before that I'm looking at is growth and a clear vision as to what this team is going to be. So instead of being wet blankets, instead of being haters, instead of being Debbie damn downers all the time on this team, how about you just enjoy it? How about you just look at this team and see the growth of individual play and then team play, especially on the offensive end, which was the problem from last season. We really didn't get that great of an offensive production. Now we have that. Now we're not getting great defensive production. But enjoy what you're seeing from two of the more special young players in the league, in Giannis and Jabari, and understand that the future really is bright here. This team, this organization will still own the future. It's just going to take some time. You're in year 2. Year 3, hopefully you take that leap. You bring a clear vision to the table. You make the proper moves and make that clear vision come true. You get the guys to get after it both offensively and defensively, and you're an elite team in the East. Have faith, but most of all, practice patience. You got a big one against the Indiana Pacers coming up. Should be a good game. Will be a good test. We'll see. It might end up being a shootout, but we shall see. But I hope that Giannis and Jabari and Middleton, this starting lineup, I hope this thing keeps rolling because it has been absolutely enjoyable to watch. Moving on State of the State here on Toss, we have to talk a little Green Bay Packers football. Yes, the Green Bay Packers, folks. Still talk about the Green Bay Packers even in their off season. Again, we spoke about them last week on our Quick Toss episode. Mike McCarthy made the comment that, hey, we may shock you in free agency. Well, guess what, folks? The shocking, and I'm doing air quotes as I'm saying this, the shocking free agency continues. Guess what Ted Thompson went out and did? He went out and signed, wait for it, Mason Crosby to a 4-year deal. Yay. All right. Yeah. He signed up to a 4-year deal. Now, look, I'm mockingly doing this, but I'm actually happy. I think this is a great move. Why would you want to start over with a new, inexperienced kicker who hasn't kicked in championship situations, close games? Mason Crosby has been good. He had one disastrous season, and he's been good ever since. He's the Packers' all-time leading scorer. Why start over with a new, inexperienced kicker? You want a guy who's been there, done that, knows how to kick outdoors at Lambeau, especially when it gets cold on that frozen tundra. This is a good signing. But the thing is, this is not the shocking that people were expecting when Mike McCarthy came out at the Combine last week and said, hey, we may shock you in free agency. This is a typical Ted Thompson move. He has guys who are going to become free agents or become free agents, and he resigns them. Now, I don't see anything wrong with that. Why break up the chemistry? If you can afford a guy, it makes sense. He's been a part of your program for multiple years. He's producing. Why not sign your own guys? But he passes that off as a free agent signing, which technically it is a free agent signing, but it's a free agent that has been your own guy. He did the same thing with Mike Daniels. He did the same thing with LaTroy Guion. He's got other guys that are free agents this season. He re-signs his own guys. It's nothing shocking. There's nothing shocking about these moves. It's typical Ted Thompson. Signs his own guys to keep the machine going. But there have been some moves made by other teams that may come out to be to the Packers' benefit. Now, Mario Williams, now former Buffalo Bill defensive end, Mario Williams, former number 1 overall pick, a guy who had double-digit sacks until this past season where he only had 5. His last season when he was with the Houston Texans before he left for free agency and got an over $100 million deal with the Buffalo Bills, he had 5 sacks. He just wasn't the right fit, but at the same time, that Rex Ryan system, nobody was getting after the quarterback last season for the Buffalo Bills. Absolutely nobody. The pace that they set the season before was ungodly. All right, they were just a sack machine. The defense was a hell of a lot better. Packers know because they shut them down. The defense for this year regressed for the Buffalo Bills. But I posed the question yesterday on the Toss Facebook page. That's facebook.com/TOnSportsShow. Does Ted Thompson go after him? Do the Green Bay Packers go after Mario Williams? I mean, think about it. He's played in a 3-4 system before. I believe he was with the Texans at the time. Wade Phillips was the defensive coordinator for those guys, and he runs a 3-4. Rex Ryan runs a 3-4, although his system is a little bit different. I think if Wade Phillips can make it work, then Dom Capers could damn sure make it work. Look, Dom Capers has been around longer than Rex Ryan and Wade Phillips combined. He can make this work. But is it a move that I foresee Ted Thompson making? I don't think so. You would love to have another pass rusher in the game. You know, could you imagine it? You have Julius Peppers, who is also coming back for his 3rd year of his contract to the Green Bay Packers. That's also another great move. Julius Peppers, Clay Matthews, Mario Williams, that's a pass rush to be feared. Dom Capers he has a base 3-4, but he plays a lot of different types of defenses. And especially with that secondary that he has, they lock guys down. That gives you a lot more time to rush the quarterback and do a lot of different things. Is it a move that Ted Thompson makes? I don't think so. If Alshon Jeffrey wasn't franchise tagged and they couldn't come to a deal and he hit free agency when new league year starts on March 9th, would Ted Thompson go and sign Alshon Jeffrey? You have a need. Would he go and do that? I don't think so. So what did Mike McCarthy mean that we may shock you in free agency? Did he mean that we were going to be shocked by how much of the same that we're going to get? Does he know something that we don't? Are they working on something behind closed doors that we may not be aware of? I think all that is wishful thinking. I haven't been shocked with the moves made. I'm happy with some of the moves made. But I don't want Ted Thompson to go out into free agency and pick somebody up just to, quote unquote, shock people or just to, quote unquote, get active in free agency. I'm saying get active in free agency for a need that you have. Is Tristain a guy from the Broncos who's going to be available? Is he a guy that Ted Thompson goes after? Who knows? Who knows? But all these people who want Ted Thompson to get active in free agency when there isn't a need really need to step back. I'm not a part of that crowd. I want him to get active when there is a need. Again, I would have loved to see Alshon Jeffrey come here, but the Bears held his rights. They franchise tagged him. They're working on a long-term deal. They may not get one done. If he doesn't get a deal done, he's allowed to hit free agency next year. Would you love to see him here? I wouldn't have a problem with seeing him here. But it all depends on what the vision is. It all depends on what moves are made by Ted Thompson and what type of team he's really trying to field. What guys step up? What guys are going to be here? There's a lot that goes into all of this. Is there a need that we have in free agency? Yes, linebacker would be great. I think another receiver would be great. But are there any feasible moves in those positions to be made that make sense for this team? We'll see. But I can tell you, I am not shocked, Mike McCarthy, by this period, this free agency period, this pre-free agency period, whatever you want to call it. I am not shocked by this offseason. It's more of the same so far. But again, the new league year starts March 9th. We'll see then when guys that hit the free agency market, and if they make sense for the Packers, does Ted Thompson go after them? We still got a week to wait. We will see, and we will be watching. Coming up on Toss, we have the Toss sweep, and we have to talk some NBA basketball, in particular, a guy who was absolutely lighting up the league so much that video game companies can't even replicate him. We'll be right back. Facebook.com/TOnSportsShow is the Toss Facebook page. It touches on every single topic we don't discuss on the show. So if you want more bits and bytes and tidbits and anecdotes from yours truly, T-Squared Tristan Thomas, then go ahead and log on to Facebook.com/TOnSportsShow. That's TON Sports Show. Welcome back to Toss, everybody. Your friendly neighborhood Tristan Thomas, T-Squared, here with you on episode 24 of Toss. And it's time for us to get into the Toss sweep. This past Saturday, we had an epic primetime NBA game. Two of the best teams in the West, number 1 and number 3, as a matter of fact, going at it as far as playoff standings go right now. Golden State Warriors, Oklahoma City Thunder. What a game, what a game. Kevin Durant showed up. Russell Wilson showed up. Klay Thompson showed up. Draymond Green showed up. And of course, Steph Curry showed up. An epic overtime battle that ended with a 32-foot three-point game winner by Steph Curry, a guy who should be D'd up from the moment he gets the ball. Does not matter where he is on the court. He has shown you that he has unlimited range. So much so that the game makers from 2K can't replicate what Steph Curry does. If they were to do that, they would pretty much have to make him make every single shot no matter where he was. That's how good Steph Curry is. Steph Curry is on a legendary tear. Not only he's the best player, you have to put him in the discussion as being the best player in the league. You really do have to put him in that discussion. If you are not putting Steph Curry in that discussion, you are uneducated and just don't know a thing about basketball. This man has built himself into being much more than just a shooter. He's become a great passer. He's become a better defender. He's become a good leader. And in the process has continued to become, look, I am going to say this, and I'm going to say this with a straight face on my straight face. He is the best shooter of all time, period. The man has literal unlimited range. And I've grown up watching a lot of great shooters. I've seen Larry Bird play, great shooter. I've seen Reggie Miller play, great shooter. Ray Allen, great shooter. I've seen some great shooters shoot. I've seen some great shooters play. None of them had the range that this guy has with ease. With ease. And he can shoot any shot you want. He can take it to the cup. He can hit the fadeaways, the pull-ups, the off the dribbles, off the screens, half court, full court, in the stands. He has literal unlimited range. He can also distribute the basketball. He can also steal the basketball. He is a great leader. So you have to put him in that discussion to being the greatest. Well, I'm not going to say the greatest player in the game, but the best player in the game today. You have to put him in there. And he's the best player on the best team in the league. It's not like he's only enjoying the success, but the entire team is enjoying the success. People forget about Klay Thompson. That guy's averaging over 21 a game. He's having a hell of a season. Draymond Green, a guy who's pretty much automatic for a triple-double just about every other game. He's having a hell of a season. People forget that Steve Kerr wasn't even on the bench for like the first 40-plus games. It was Luke Walton. And they still had a hell of a record. I mean, this is a well-oiled machine. Harrison Barnes, people forget about how good he is. how deep the bench is. You got Andrew Bogut over there. People forget Festus Ezeli is injured right now. He hasn't even really been playing. I mean, this roster is so deep, and this machine is so well oiled. They just keep going and going and going and going and going. He is the best player on the best team. He's going to win his second straight MVP, and this time there's not going to be a question about it. Last year, everybody felt that it should have went to James Harden. I was kind of in that realm as well. I felt that he should have been the MVP, and in the Players Awards, they awarded James Harden pretty much their MVP. But when you're talking about the greats and you're starting to put guys in perspective about greatest of all time and top 10 and all this and that, and I've had some pretty interesting discussions on my Twitter about it with a lot of people. And some are really being prisoners of the moment. Some haven't seen enough basketball to really put everything in perspective. I've lived and been fortunate enough to live through many different eras of basketball. All right, I grew up in the 80s. I've seen 80s basketball. I grew up in the 90s. Seen tough 90s basketball. Grew up in the 2000s. Now we're in the 2010s. I've seen many different eras of basketball. I've seen many different great players. Been fortunate enough to see all of them play. When you have legends coming out of the woodworks and trying to put things in perspective, and then they start throwing shade at a guy like Steph Curry, it's a little bit disheartening, because are you bitter that a guy is really creating himself to be the best in the game today, and they're comparing him to you and what you did? Is it a bitter pill that they're saying that maybe he may quite possibly be better than you? You know what they say, records are meant to be broken. Well, players are meant to teach, so the players of the future become better than you were. And I think that's really a bitter pill that some of these legends have to swallow, and they don't want to, because they feel like, hey, in me in my prime against you in your prime, you wouldn't stand a chance. And sometimes in certain matchups, yeah, that is the case, but that's not the case in every single time. You have to understand that there are different great players for different eras, because the game does not always stay the same. Steph Curry is the best in the NBA of today. Would he have been the best player on the planet in an era like Pistol Pete played in, where there was no three-point line and Pistol Pete was still out there dominating? Who knows? I mean, the guy's a great enough shooter. He's a great ball handler. He's a good distributor of the basketball. I think he still would have been good. Would he have been otherworldly? Who knows? I'll tell you one thing. He's not going to be better than Michael Jordan. He is the GOAT, will always be the GOAT. There is no one greater. This is a man that transcended the game. This is a man that people are sitting up there creating lines to buy his shoes when the man hasn't played in many years. But his influence is still as such, where you can release all of his old retros or release something brand new, and he will still have lines around city blocks for people to go and get his shoes. He's a guy that really changed the game. He's a guy that wasn't a great three-point shooter, but was still able to dominate and had 7 straight 30-point per game scoring seasons. You have to put things in perspective per era. Of this era, the NBA that we're in today, where if you breathe on a guy, you're catching a foul, Steph Curry is one of the greatest. Yes, this is the second season of being absolutely dominant and his team being absolutely dominant. I get that, but he is really creating himself into being one of the greatest of all time. Not saying the greatest of all time, but one of the. Can he continue this pace? Who knows? We certainly hope so, because he is fun to watch, and that Warriors team is fun to watch. Just like the Thunder is fun to watch, just like the Spurs. And a lot of people don't like the Spurs, but I love watching them because they're fundamentally sound. But to all these legends trying to throw shade, and all these legends being bitter, stop it. To all these people that are out there and saying, oh, well, if Steph Curry wouldn't survive in this era and that era, maybe, maybe not. Great players are going to be great no matter what. They may have a different level of greatness, but they're going to be great no matter what. Sometimes you just can't deny greatness. I just wish, instead of making all of these lists and getting into all these useless arguments, why can't we just sit down and enjoy the experience? Why can't we just sit down and enjoy the greatness that we're seeing? It's the same thing with LeBron James. So many people hate him. And so many people want to bring up the fact that he's not great in the clutch. Not everybody needs to be great in the clutch to be great. Michael Jordan wasn't a great three-point shooter, but does that deny the fact that he's GOAT? No. So why are we harping on one thing that players struggle on? Everybody has a weakness. Everybody has something that they're not going to be great at, but they work tirelessly to get better at. Make their weaknesses into strengths. That does not mean that they're any less great. Why can't we just sit down and enjoy their greatness? Why can't we just sit down and enjoy the basketball being played and understand that it's a different game than it was 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago? Enjoy it for what it is, or step away from it. It's fun to try and create lists and have competitive banter where it doesn't get heated and you just respect each other's opinions. You walk away and then you come back the next day, you come back with a fresh new list and you try to debate that. That's all fine and well, but when it gets heated and when you're starting throwing shade and you're really starting to disrespect people, that's where you just need to just leave it alone. Just enjoy the game for what it is. Enjoy what these players are doing because they're not going to be around forever. They're not going to be that dominant forever. So why can't you just sit down and enjoy it? Steph Curry is the most exciting player in the league today, period. There's no question about that. In this era of the NBA, is he one of the best in the NBA? Absolutely. Absolutely. Is he one of the most dangerous players in the NBA? Absolutely. Absolutely. So why can't we sit down and enjoy it for the era that we're in and enjoy it for what it is? We're not going to get the hard fouls of the 90s. We're not going to get the fundamentally sound basketball of the 60s. It's just not that game anymore. It's a different game. It's a new age. You got new age players, and they're just walking along with the system. They're dealing with the cards that they've been dealt. This is the NBA. These are the rules. This is how the game is being played. I'm going to excel at how the game is being played today. Isn't that all you can ask of anybody? So instead of trying to knock him down, instead of trying to throw shade at him, instead of trying to insult him and his team, why don't you just enjoy Steph Curry for what he is, which is one of the best players today? Because there's going to come a time where he's not as dominant. There's going to come a time where he's not the most exciting player in the league. And there's going to be a new guy who is. Are you guys really going to knock those guys down too? It's sad that we always have to put a number on someone's greatness. It's sad that we always have to compete with list instead of enjoying an experience, enjoying the game for what it is. So take a step back, sit down, just watch the games. That Saturday night game was an absolute classic. Enjoyed it from start to finish. That is what the game is about. This is Toss. All right, y'all, it's time for me to get on up out of here. This has been episode 24 of Toss, the Tristain on Sports Show. I want to thank each and every single one of you all around the world for listening and supporting. You know the Facebook page, facebook.com/T on Sports Show. That's TON Sports Show. You know the Twitter, @the20double on Twitter. That's @the20double on Twitter. Debates, live game tweeting, and a lot of other controversy, if you want to call it that. But it's my thoughts, fresh from my head. You get them each and every single day. @the20double on Twitter. Hey, you know the Libsyn page. That's tossshow.libsyn.com. TOSSSHOW.LIBSYN. tossshow.libsyn.com. Go back and listen to every episode of Toss ever made and stay up to date. Fresh heat out of the kitchen each and every single Wednesday and sometimes Saturday. Hey, you know we're on iTunes. You know we're on Stitcher. There is no reason, no place that you can listen to Toss. You can listen to it anywhere, anytime, any place. So go ahead, hit all three of those pages up. Make sure you listen to Toss. Make sure to play some Toss. Make sure to play some Toss. Gotta get it in your head. But as I said before, it's time for me to get on up out of here. This is your main man, T-Square, Tristain Thomas, reminding you that dreams don't catch themselves. Get up, get out, and get after it. Until next week, so long from Toss.